What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and by a show of comments, how many of you all have ever heard of a 15-minute city? It's relatively a foreign concept that gained popularity over in the UK and Europe. I'm sure some of you all by now have heard of the 15-minute city. Now, on the outside, on the surface, it kind of seems like a good idea. The whole point of a 15-minute city, or at least this is what they say the point is to make it to where you could live your life and do everything you need to do on a day-to-day basis, all within 15 minutes of your home. You can go to the library, you can go to work, you can go to the laundromat, you can go to the hospital, you can go to the grocery store, all within a 15-minute ride from your house. Now, to a lot of people, this sounds convenient. And when you really think about it, a lot of areas are already like this. So what's the need of this concept in the first place? Well, you see, it all ties hand in hand with climate change, the invisible fake enemy that we're all fighting, climate change. Well, they say it's good for the environment. If people don't have to travel far and wide to get things done, if we can compact all these people within a 15-minute city, they will put out less emissions and it won't be as harmful for the environment. Of course, that's what they say. Now, to some of you, this may seem cool. This may seem like a good idea. But for those of you all who have actually been paying attention to the world for the last few years, for those of you all who have a little bit of a sense, you know that this isn't good. And that this will be used for no good. No good at all. I mean, when you hear the concept of the 15-minute city, it sounds convenient for some. But then when you look at everything that's happened in the world over the past few years, you look at how our travel was restricted during the beer bug. I remember a couple of years back during this whole health crisis that I had went to Georgia to visit some family. And I was up there for a couple of weeks, and then when I went back down to Florida, I had to go through a checkpoint where they asked me, "What's your business coming down here, huh? Why are you coming down here to Florida? Can we check your temperature? Or did you get the jab?" And I remember the way that made me feel inside. It enraged me. It enraged me beyond belief. Because for the first time in my life, I felt like a caged bird. I'm not a prisoner. I'm out here driving the open road and I have to stop for roadblocks and temperature checks while I'm trying to travel to my house. So if everything that was going on for the last few years didn't wake you up, then nothing will. And I think what happened over the last few years woke a lot of people up to this concept about the 15-minute city. Now, a lot of people in Europe and the UK, they are embracing this. And I would have to ask you all, and I don't mean this in an offensive way. I have a lot of people who watch my channel from other countries. Why is it that some people in the UK and in Europe and down in Australia, why is it that some of these people are just so ready and willing to just roll over and to allow the government to do whatever they want to do to them? I mean, they're taking people's farmlands away. They're shutting farms down. And the reality is, a lot of people overseas, they gave up a lot of their freedoms in exchange for more security. So don't get me wrong. You can go to a lot of these places overseas and you will be safer. You will be safer walking the streets than many of the cities in America. That is a fact. Okay? But see, a lot of these people over in these foreign countries, they've given away certain freedoms in exchange for that. And when it's all said and done, and when things hit the fan, was it really worth it? So, I question often the mentality of people in other countries because, why were people in Australia okay with sending your neighbors and family and friends and sending yourself to freaking camps where you would quarantine away from society? Like things like that are not okay. They will never be okay, and they will only lead to even worse things. You know what I mean? But yet we're seeing people just willingly just roll over and allow whatever to happen to happen. Now, the problem with the 15-minute city that I have and that many are pointing out is how long before the 15-minute city is no longer about convenience and it's more of a prison. It's more about keeping you in a certain area and restricting your freedoms and restricting you from living your life and doing what you want to do. How long before you're living in a 15-minute city and hey, let's say you don't like the laundromat that's within your 15-minute city. Let's say you want to drive 20 minutes to the better laundromat. How long before you have to go through a checkpoint to make sure that's okay? You see, what goes hand in hand with these 15-minute cities is authoritarianism and the government's overreach and the government's agenda to control you. They've already talked about it in other countries that when you want to leave these 15-minute cities, that you're going to have to provide a valid excuse. Almost like you're a kid in elementary school that has to show a doctor's note when you missed a day of school. So you'll live within these 15-minute cities, and if you want to travel farther than 15 minutes, you will have to provide a valid excuse, a valid reason to do so. So in other words, it's yet another attempt by the elites to control us, to control our movements, to control how we act socially, to control how we interact with one another. It's yet another attempt to do that. And they're going to use climate change as the excuse. Make no mistake about it. Everything you saw with the beer bug over the past few years is simply a preview to what they really have planned. It simply happened to desensitize you for when the climate change lockdowns come and the climate change 15-minute cities come to a town near you and you're stuck all within this little 15-minute perimeter. And if you want to travel to the next state, guess what? You are SOL unless you have a good valid reason and paperwork showing why you can and why you should. Now, some of you are probably watching this video like, yeah, that'll never happen in America. Who cares about 15-minute cities? People in Europe are already doing it. Who cares? That's the mentality that will always, always, always lead you down the wrong path. You will always fail if you have that mentality. So I know there are some people watching this video thinking Americans, the U.S. isn't going to be affected. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? 15-minute cities are coming to the U.S. And not only are 15-minute cities coming to the U.S. of A., guess where they are going? They are going to what I would call the freest state in America. One of the best places to be in America. I know the mainstream media likes to demonize this place, but in reality, it's one of the best places to live. And that is Florida, ladies and gentlemen. That is correct. 15-minute cities are now coming to Florida. Out of all the places in America, you would think that Florida would be the last place that would allow something like this to happen. And as someone who's been all over Florida, I can tell you that in a lot of these cities and a lot of these areas, you travel like all over the place to do things. You know what I mean? And I'm the type of guy, I like to go out to eat. I like to go shopping. I like to do this. I like to do that. I don't like to be told what to do. Almost everything I do is further than 15 minutes away from my home. But it's true, ladies and gentlemen. 15-minute cities are coming to Florida. I want you all to watch this clip, and then I'll be back with more thoughts. And yes, you should be worried.
From where you shop to where you work, all within a 15-minute walk.
Sounds pretty nice, right? Cities around the country are already doing it. NBC2 meteorologist Lauren Hope finds out if during Ian recovery, it could be a reality here in Southwest Florida.
Southwest Florida's population is booming.
We have seen the population literally double in approximately 2 decades, which is unheard of for municipalities.
What used to be an appealing retirement destination is now attracting more young families, according to Fort Myers Public Information Officer Liz Bella Matthews.
Those that are looking to raise their kids in environments that are healthy, that have a lot of different options, they're coming here. And, we're excited about that.
City officials are working to keep up with the growth.
We have 91 different projects going on in the city right now. I would say probably a majority of those are housing, higher density, multifamily type housing.
Fort Myers Director of Economic Development Stephen Weathers says the success of any city comes down to the success of its downtown.
So one of the things I've found in the cities I've worked in, what makes a downtown appealing is I don't have to go outside of the downtown for, say, a grocery store or for a gas station or for a dry cleaner. We really want to make this the 15-minute city.
The 15-minute city is an urban planning concept where everyday necessities are easily reachable within a 15-minute walk or a 15-minute bike ride. This concept can promote more green spaces, but it can also decrease carbon emissions.
From an environmental standpoint, one of the biggest pieces is that if we're driving less, we're putting less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, we're slowing the pace at which we're changing the climate that we have to live with.
Dr. Wynne Everham, a professor at the water school at FGCU, knows a thing or two about creating a usable space.
And I think most good 15-minute city approaches include a significant amount of green space within walking distance, because we're finding out that that's really good for people.
Something that is in the works for downtown Fort Myers.
We don't have enough green spaces, and we recognize that as a municipality. So we are looking to see where it is that we can add more parks. We expect that by 2024, we will have a parks master plan that will be able to show the community what it is that we're going to do and within what time period.
There is a market value to building in a different way, that there is a lot of people who would like to have the 15-minute concept outside their door. They would like to be able to walk to the grocery store, take a bike to their doctor's office. Maybe there really are people who think, yeah, I need a 2-hour commute every day. I love that. I don't know who they are, but maybe they're out there. But we need more options.
And ditching the car is an option many residents enjoy in Mercado, a multi-use community in Naples.
Everything's within walking distance.
Developed back in 2008,
And I think it was ahead of its time.
Mercado manager Michael McLean says the community has 92 condos, 43 single-family homes, and over 80 tenants.
You can start at 6 a.m. at Yoga Loft or Mandu or Cycle Bar, go to Whole Foods, get your groceries, go shopping, go see a movie, and literally spend your entire day at Mercado.
As Southwest Florida grows, more 15-minute cities are likely.
You're going to see a lot in the next 3 to 5 years that I think is going to be that much better to improve the quality of life for so many residents. I know that we're going to have a superb city that's going to just build on what it already has. This city is so special. It's very charming. It has so much history. It has so much personality. And I think as a city, municipality, we are recognizing that and finding more ways to bring that to light so that everybody can see that too.
In Fort Myers, meteorologist Lauren Hope, NBC2.
It's kind of funny and ironic because I haven't known about this 15-minute city concept for that long. And I've been looking into it for the last few months. And as I'm looking into it, and I'm looking, oh man, I feel bad for the people over here in Europe, man, they're gonna lock these people down in these 15-minute cities. Little do they know they're not going to be able to travel and do this and do that. And for many people over there in these countries and in these areas, they don't really care, because a lot of them don't even have a car. A lot of them ride their bicycles. A lot of them live their lives like that already. Like a lot of people out there in Europe and in the UK, which I guess you could, whatever. It's funny because, all right, how can I explain this? Like, think of big cities in America. Let's say you live in a big city like New York, and you want to travel to Philadelphia, or you want to travel to Florida. Think about the time that takes. Over here in Europe and the UK, when you want to travel from big city to big city, it's really not that far. It's really not that far. Yet they travel from town to town way less than what we do. One thing about America, that other countries don't have and they don't share is our open roads. Like, one of the coolest parts about the USA is hopping on the interstate with your car, hopping on the highway and just riding wherever you want to go. Riding from city to city, state to state. Overseas, they don't do that as much. Most of them are more content and happy being in their little areas. That's not how we are over here in America. But it was funny, and it's weird. It's not funny, but it's funny. Because I was looking into all of this stuff, and I'm just like, man, I feel bad for these people over there. Man, I hope this doesn't happen here. And then bam, 15-minute cities coming to Cincinnati. 15-minute cities coming to Florida. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Now, what's going to happen here is I can already see it. It's already written on the wall. We're going to be gaslighted into thinking that something must be wrong with us. We must be too paranoid. We must be crazy for having problems and issues with the 15-minute city. They're going to label us conspiracy theorists. They're going to label us whatever labels they want to label us. Trust me, they're going to come up with all types of names for us. And they're going to try to gaslight us into thinking that 15-minute cities are perfectly normal and that there are no hidden agendas behind them. But you have to be smarter than that, people. You have to be smarter than that. Make no mistake about it. These 15-minute cities aren't for your convenience. Do you think the government cares about your convenience? If you care about our convenience, maybe, just maybe, you should fix the DMVs so we don't have to wait 8 hours in line to get a new copy of our driver's license. If you care about our convenience, maybe fix the freaking ice cream machines at McDonald's. It's not about convenience. The government never cared about your convenience. When has the government or anything involved with them ever been convenient? They don't care about your convenience. And then when you think about it, the further you travel, the more money they make, because you have to buy gas, you have to do this, if you go out of town, you have to pay for hotels. So in many ways, they're losing money with this, which should tell you one thing, that there is a darker agenda behind it. If you look around you and you pay attention to the culture and you pay attention to what's going on in today's world, there are a lot of corporations and companies that are willingly losing money to push agendas. Disney being one of the main ones. They're making crap movies. They're filling their movies with political agendas. These movies are losing money in the box office. I mean, Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, movies that they spend hundreds of millions on, hundreds of millions of dollars on, and they're losing money. And they don't care, because what's more important to them is pushing an agenda. And that's the same thing with these 15-minute cities. They're not going to care that they're going to lose money in the short term, because the long-term agenda is to have you controlled and to have you centralized in one area that they control, and making sure that you don't have the pleasure of living a free life while the elites jet set around the world and do whatever they want. Do you think that celebrities and elites and rich people are going to be confined to a 15-minute city? No. They want to take us peasants, us normal folk, and cram us into these little areas where we can't leave while they enjoy nature, while they enjoy wildlife, while they take long walks on the beach, while they fly private planes to Italy. You know what I mean? That's what's happening here. And it's now coming to a city and a state near you. And I would suggest that you reject it every step of the way. If you see a concept like this coming to your town, reject it. And if you can, get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there, because nothing good is going to come of this. I can guarantee you that. I can assure you that. Okay? In some of these foreign countries, they're already putting up pillars and certain things in the street, so you can't even drive your cars through certain areas anymore, because they know what this is all about. It's not about your convenience. It's about controlling you. And when the next public health crisis, or when the next big crisis comes that they've created, they are going to use these 15-minute cities, and they're going to implement their control by making sure that you never leave those 15-minute cities again. And if you want to, you better have some high clearance passes and all types of nonsense. I'm telling you right now, it is a bad situation, and it's coming right here. It's already too late. They already got the concepts. They're already planning it out, and they're probably already building some of this stuff. But hey, that's the world we're living in. I suggest that everyone starts paying attention. I don't care if you're scared of being labeled this, labeled that. Call me whatever you want to call me, okay? You can call me whatever you want to call me, but you can't call me stupid, and you can't call me unaware, because I am fully aware of a lot of agendas that are taking place right before our eyes right now. And I would suggest that you tell as many people as you can, share this video, share other videos, make sure that more and more people in our country become aware of this agenda. They need to know what a 15-minute city is, and they need to know the dark agendas behind the 15-minute city. And you don't even need my explanation for that. I think if you use your common sense, you look at everything that's happened recently, and you hear the concept of a 15-minute city, if it shouldn't be hard for you to put two and two together and realize, oh, this is basically a control tactic to make sure we can't go certain places and do certain things. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.